Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video finds you well. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting pretty excited for the Strike Team Online update. I've been looking through some of the screenshots and even clips of the Strike Team Online quote-unquote leaks, although I don't know why they're called leaks. The developers just handed it to us. It's not really a leak. I don't know. But the point is that it looks pretty good so far. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to look at these in depth and see what we can find and really try to understand the true impacts of what we've seen so far. Starting with this screenshot right here, this very map. Now, Owen himself, the guy responsible for all these quote-unquote leaks, he actually brought something up which I wouldn't even have thought of. If you look at the roof right there, there's no cover. So the attackers, they can just peek from at any point, at anywhere, and just kill the defenders with absolutely no repercussion, meaning it's going to be very heavily into the attacker's favor. Now, he offered a suggestion, we put barricades down, and that's good. So we've already been through that, but there's a lot more I want to bring up here, and I think this is easier to tell on the second slide here. This map is massive from the looks of it. I mean, this courtyard alone is so spread out. There's going to be a lot of movement going on. It's not going to be all close quarters. I mean, I know they call it a close quarter game, but I mean, this is pretty wide open. There's not a lot of cover, and I could definitely see how using a sniper class or ACOG class is going to be highly advantageous. Similarly, there's something I want to point out. Look at this pillar right here. You see that? There's like chunks missing out of it. Now, does that mean there will be a destructible environment on these concrete pillars? Now, we already know there is going to be destruction. I'll get into that slide in a second, but maybe actual cover, like concrete cover, chips will get knocked out by bullets or something like that. That would be pretty cool, or maybe this is just a placeholder texture. I mean, if there is a gap here, right, maybe that's just part of the texture, but if there is a gap there, can you shoot through that? Is that going to be like a really clever, like, peek hole or something? You know, behind the pillar, you peek through the reinforcements. Similarly, it doesn't look like those windows are destructible. It looks like textures, but those are just placeholders, I think. You know, you can tell all of this looks like placeholders. Other thing you can tell, which is painfully obvious, look at the amount of post-processing going on in, like, the corners here. Holy, that is actually ugly. I hate that so much. It's something I don't like about the actual current build of the game, is that the post-processing is super obnoxious. But anyway, let's move on. So this looks like to be one of their, what I believe is a CQC map. It might actually be the same map we were looking before, but we have no idea. I do see the similarities, like the cargo containers and whatnot. I think a map like this would probably better suit a TDM game mode or something maybe of a larger scale than CQB, because this looks, again, really spread out. But maybe this is just the like spawn of the map. Maybe the actual meat and potatoes of the map is a little more complex than this, because this does look very simple. But I feel like with the current gunplay of Strike Team Online, this simple type of map design will actually benefit the gameplay. But we don't know what that's going to look like yet, so let's move on. This looks like another screenshot of the previous map. This is what really makes me think it's going to be a TDM map, because look at the corners like this. Like, why would that be in a CQB? That's really weird. Why is that? I mean, that looks kind of weird in general. It doesn't look like a real thing that exists, but you can see right here, probably a great place to counter spawn peeks. You get up on top of there, do a little like head peek on that crate thing. Looks like this is probably where the spawn peeks are going to be from. You can see a door right there. That's probably going to be barricaded when they add barricade physics. These windows will probably be breakable. So again, a lot of spawn peeks. I'm seeing a lot of really good spawn peeks from this side of the map. And a lot of counters as well. You can see there's a lot of stuff you can jump up on, like these two boxes right there. A lot of crates over there as well. Looks like you can jump up on. If you can vault on top of the crates and get maybe on there, you can probably have a lot of good ways to counter spawn peeks. So a good balance, it seems, so far from the attacking and defending sides. Alright, now this image right here, this is huge. First of all, barricades. I'm sure Owen pointed this out in his video. That looks good. I mean, that looks real nice, I have to admit. I love the texture in the metal, and this isn't the highest definition image, so it's a little bit of pixelation going on when you zoom in like that. But that looks good. That's a good texture, and I like it. It's obvious, it's bright, it's obvious, you know that thing's been barricaded. Secondly, this pretty much confirms that there's going to be operators, because if you look up top here, look at that. We have some sort of like, that looks like it's a chunka helmet, so maybe it's like maybe a scanner of some sort, maybe like a scanner. A Kevlar vest here, you might think, well, what does that do? It's an armor plate class, like there was in Area F2, and like there was in Rainbow Six. We can kind of confirm that there are going to be operators. So this is huge. We can also see, and this is in previous screenshots, a lot of this is in previous screenshots, but I'm pointing it out now, We have a compass. We have compass bearings, which kind of adds some clutter to the top of the screen. But I wouldn't mind if they made it a little smaller, because that's kind of a lot. Especially if you have a smaller device. It can be a little intrusive, but pretty good. Let's move on. Now, this is huge. Take a very good look at that very compact-looking M4. Take a look at this M4. Take a look at that M4, and this M4. Gunsmith. That's huge. We know that there's going to be a proper Gunsmith. I like that magazine, by the way. That is a really nice magazine. You can, like, see the individual bullets. Very nice. Good work, devs. But yeah, this is what I'm really excited about, because not only do we have operator classes, but we have very detailed gunsmithing for those operator classes, which means that your gunsmith is going to be so much more enhanced than it is in other games like COD, right, that has gunsmith. You're not just creating a class for your playstyle, you're creating a class to fit into the playstyle of the operator you chose. So maybe you have like a super mobile operator. Their perk is like a panther. Let's look at panther. You use decent run speed, and he's a 2-speed, 2 armor. You inject himself with steroids and burst through walls. Awesome. That's sick. So you'd obviously want a weapon that plays into that skill, like a quick ADS time and a close range optic, right? Whereas maybe you're a rook or the armor plate guy, right? You're gonna want maybe an ACOG, something a little more slow that plays into your team. That's less aggressive, and the attachments can be utilized so much more in a game with operators and a game with gunsmith. Now moving on here, this is pretty straightforward. Just a camera, kind of see what's going on here. We can see it looks like some sort of ping. That looks like a placeholder image, but maybe that's just the button that's used to ping, or maybe that's just the texture for pingings. For now, you can see cameras are destructible, and it looks very similar to the Area F2 cameras. You can see, you can shoot out the cameras. That's very nice. Looks like also when you spot an operator, it shows like their profile picture, which I don't know how I feel about that, right? For reference, maybe you come back to the game a little late or just wasn't paying attention, you need to know what the operator looks like. You look up and it's like an anime profile picture. It doesn't really help you. It's like, that might be a Glaz, but that's like, is it Glaz or Hatsune Miku? I can't tell, right? That's something I wish they would change. They probably are changing it. Maybe I have it wrong. Maybe it shows their profile picture first, and then when you spot them, it shows the operator that the character is using. But we'll see. Now, something I was a little curious about when I was looking at the screenshot. What's this? You see that? Is it like a compass bearing? Maybe that's just part of the texture. And that's part of the texture. Why is it like I'm seeing a lot of numbers, like just random numbers? I'm guessing these are just for the aesthetic purposes. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that space could be a lot more well served if you just got rid of the random numbers. And it's that kind of same thing with like the glitch bar. Like, I don't want that. I just want to be able to see what I'm looking at. Just a lot of clutter for aesthetic purposes. It'd be nice if they could just maybe tone back on the aesthetics, get rid of some of the clutter, and stick to more practical use, especially in a competitive game. Now this is pretty. There's not really a lot to this. We do know. Now here's something that's a little alarming. Minimap. There's a minimap. Why is there a minimap in a CQB game? We can only hope that that's gonna stick to the TDM game modes, but I don't. This looks like a CQB game. I mean, obviously it is. We got Smonk over here. We got that probably is Glaz or whatever. Hopefully they get rid of the minimap. They might just have it because they're still working on its implementation. Again, 3 developers, very short period of time to develop a game. They're doing the Lord's work. It's kind of insane what they're doing. So I don't want to come across as salty. Like, I'm incredibly grateful for what the developers are doing for us. It's kind of insane that they can do all this. Just 3 guys who aren't even that experienced in game development can do all this. It's kind of insane. Another thing I noticed. Looks like we have a limited amount of healing. I kind of wish it was just auto healing. And in CQB, I wish there wasn't even healing at all. It was just down to an operator. But I guess they do have to differentiate themselves from Rainbow Six. And that might be the same reason why they're still on minimap. Usual stuff here. Just looks like night mode. The night isn't the most. Like, night vision goggles aren't the most realistic thing in the world. But it gets the job done. Looks fine. This isn't supposed to be super realistic. You know, it's not Arma. This is it's Rainbow Six knockoff. So what do you expect, right? We do have, looks like, callouts right here. So this is security room. You can see there's utility down there as well. Now, if you're looking at this part, you have flashbangs, your bullet. I don't know what that does. See, that's where so that's where you'd ping. I just noticed that now. That's probably what you'd use to ping. I like what they're. Ooh, you're not supposed to see that. I like what they're doing with the guns having it at the top right here, and then using this bottom real estate down here for just using it as a like toolbar of your utility, your barricades, your camera, your ping. I like that. I like that a lot. I like to see it. I will probably move that over a little bit and offset that, and then put my lean down there, because I always put my lean at the bottom. But that's really nice. I love to see it. So here's just a model, and oh my god, there's no texture to it, but that looks good. That's a good looking P92 right there. Looks like we also have... This is interesting. So it looks like we have not only do we have this thing where it indicates where either you've been hit or maybe the enemy's been hit, but it shows the weapon that they used, the class they used, the damage that you got, you know, the you versus foe classic, and then also distance, so west. This too, we can see like a canted laser sight as well. Yeah, it looks a little pixelated, but I'm sure they're gonna change that, and even if they do keep it, I don't really care. It looks fine, whatever. It looks like that's pretty much it for the screenshots. Mission gunfight, so this looks like to be one of their TDM maps. This is definitely TDM map. This isn't CQC, and I like it. Again, it's simple. It's simple, but there's a lot of cover, and it gets the job done, and I like to see it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to fill you in on everything that was happening on Strike Team Online. I'll make sure to link all my sources below. Also, if you have anything else you'd like to add, well, I mean, let me know in the comments. I'm interested.